Welcome to the eCommerce Badassery podcast, the place for scrappy female entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Hey, e-commerce friend. Today's episode is a replay of the holiday campaign planning series that aired last year. Even if you listened to it the first time, I encourage you to listen to it again because it's likely your business has evolved a lot since last holiday season, and there's probably something that's more relevant to your business right now, or you may just hear it differently. So you definitely want to keep listening. A few quick notes before we dive in. I definitely touch a bit about COVID here. And while we're not quite in the same state we were this time last year, it's still likely to affect the holiday shopping season. And with this new Delta variant and the lack of vaccinations, we just don't know what this year will be like. Plus, the majority of what I'm sharing with you can be used at any time in your business for all of your big campaigns. So, like I said, tune in even if you already have. Let's get right into it. Hello, e-commerce friends, and welcome back to the eCommerce Badassery podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. This is the third and final episode of the holiday campaign series where we're covering the 3 Ps of campaign execution. In the first episode of the series, number 22, we talked about planning, and episode 2, which was number 23, we talked all about preparation. And in this episode, we're talking all about promotion. We're going to go over your sales, email marketing, paid advertising, and your graphics. I know you've been waiting for this one, but I did put them in a very specific order. So if you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes in the series, you know what to do. You'll also want to download the holiday planning checklist to keep by your side while you're implementing everything. It is the same checklist for all 3 episodes. You can grab it at ecommercebadassery.com/24. So let's hop right into it with figuring out what sales you should run. First things first, go back to the campaign recap you did. Which promos have performed the best in the past? And is there anything worth repeating? I would always start there. But ultimately, the simpler the promo, the better, especially for 2020. You can be sure consumers are going to be bombarded with sales messages. So just make it super simple for them and for you, because the simpler the sale, the less customer service questions, the easier it is for you to execute, the more successful it will be. Generally, I find a straight percentage discount off their entire purchase is usually the biggest revenue driver. But there are always other options like a discount off of a specific collection or specific items you're trying to move. And buy one, get one deals are a great way to increase your AOV. It's a delicate balance between what your margins can afford and making it enticing enough for people to actually take advantage. You're likely to have a lot of competition this year, so just think through this carefully and make sure you're offering the better deal, right? More than what you would traditionally do at other times throughout the year. Also, if you're reselling other people's products, check in with your vendors to see if they have any special deals, because a lot of the time you can find certain items that they are selling at a discount, right? So you're getting it for a lower wholesale price. That way, when you do offer discounts on those items, it doesn't eat into your margin as much. When it comes to your Black Friday weekend deals, by the way, if you use different discount codes for, say, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I suggest having both codes active for the entire time to limit customer service issues, because time zones still confuse people. That's just a little side note there. My goal for you is to map all of your promos out ahead of time, but leave yourself space to react. Especially if you have seasonal merchandise that doesn't move as quickly as you expect, because remember, you want that stuff to sell out by the time your standard shipping cutoff comes, right? Or if you run a promo that doesn't drive as much revenue as you'd hoped, and so maybe you have to increase the discount or market it more, or even just extend it a day or two to get your customers' attention, right? That email that says like extended sale is always a good send, even if you have that planned out in advance. Speaking of email, that is my favorite way to get these promotions in front of your customers. And if you don't get it in front of them, how else are they going to know it's happening? So let's talk about email marketing. When it comes to email during the holiday season, you're definitely going to want to up your email frequency so you don't get lost in the inbox. And if you're not already emailing your people on a regular basis, start doing that now and at the latest by the beginning of October. You want to get your subscribers used to receiving emails from you, opening them, and clicking them. You cannot just show up in their inbox on Black Friday weekend if they haven't heard from you in months. So commit to sending at least one email a week between now and Black Friday weekend. Once you start getting closer to your sale times, use those emails to start teasing your promotions. This is a great incentive, by the way, to mention on social and in all your other channels while you try and grow your list between now and the holiday season as well. Studies show that the majority of holiday sales come from customers that engaged with your brand before the holiday season. So if you haven't been putting much focus on growing your list for the past couple months, start doing it now and get as many people on there as you can. And using, hey, you're going to get early access or sneak peeks and things like that as the driver and the reason why they want to sign up, it'll go a long way because people love exclusivity. And speaking of those sneak peeks, don't be afraid to give them sneak peeks through email. You can just do it to your best customers, your VIPs. You can send it to your entire list. Like, create excitement. Get it to the point where they are like refreshing their inbox on the day they know this sale is going to go live, just waiting until they can make a purchase. And I know a lot of people worry like, well, if I tell them about the sale too early, then they're just going to wait to buy. But when it comes to Black Friday weekend and the holiday season, they're waiting anyway. So don't get caught up in that. It's more important to get them excited and hyped up about what you have coming. You can use this same tactic if you have limited stock in popular items or if you have seasonal specific items. Give your email list early access to the sale before you advertise it on your website or on social media. And when you're thinking about like, all right, well, what am I going to send to these people between now and then? Remember that email doesn't always have to be a hard sell. You can send newsletters and other information related just to the holiday season to keep your brand top of mind for the customer. You don't always have to ask for the sale. Then when it comes to your big sale days, make sure that you have a plan in place to resend emails to people who didn't open it the first time. And don't forget to send those last chance emails as well, because not everyone is going to take action right away, right? And not everyone opens your email the first time. So you want to build that into your plan. And the good news is you can set up all of these resends in advance in Klaviyo. So you can have your email working for you while you enjoy your pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving weekend. Okay. So that's the email marketing part. Let's jump into advertising. Now, I will say, if you've never done ads before, you probably don't want to start during the holiday season on your own. If you're ready to do ads, either start with remarketing ads only, or hire an expert, because you don't want to be wasting your time, money, and energy during your busiest season trying to learn something new. It's going to be frustrating and stressful, and you may not get the results that you want. It's just not worth it. If you are, however, already doing advertising, then there are some things that you're going to want to tweak for holiday. So one thing is to update your bids. And while I've heard some ads experts say your CPAs may actually go down during the holidays, it doesn't hurt to prepare for increased competition and increase your bids a smidge. You'll also want to make sure that you're adjusting your ads during the season based on your product availability, because I will tell you, as a customer, there is nothing more frustrating than seeing an ad for something that is actually sold out when I go to the website. And sure, I'm on the website and now I can go shop everything else, but you've given me a very crappy experience and now I don't want to shop with you. So make sure that you are penciling in time to review and adjust your ads as you go. If you're doing Google ads, you want to update your ads with site links to your seasonal collections and your gift guides, and you might want to experiment with adding some seasonal keywords to your campaigns, like best gifts for mom under $100. Ultimately, you just want to make sure that everything you're doing is related to Q4, what the customer is looking for, what they need, what they're searching for, the experience that they want to have. Like, make it specific to this time and try and think through all the shit that could go wrong and plan for it. In addition to your email and paid advertising, you're gonna just want to be in front of your potential customers as much as possible throughout the season. Of course, you don't necessarily need to be in all the places. You want to be strategic and show up where your customers are at. And of course, you always hear me say, double down on what has worked for you in the past. But wherever you decide to go all in on these channels during this time. Create content around your gift guides and your seasonal items. Create content related to your product and how it works within holiday in general. And then create FOMO and urgency. Add that into your marketing as much as possible. So let me give you some examples. So if you are a health and fitness brand, you can talk about how to stay on track during the holiday season, because we all know that maybe we're, good with how we eat throughout the year, and then the holidays come and we get a little crazy. So we can talk to your customers about that, maybe some tips and tricks that you have, and maybe it's just about how to get back on track after it, right? Like indulge, enjoy, and then get back on track. And no matter what brand you have and what product you sell, you could always also just speak to finding time for yourself in the craziness of the holiday, because that is something that we can all relate to. So when you're thinking about what you're going to talk about on social and in email and all the places where you show up, go back to who is your customer and what is it that matters to them. Tell them your own relatable stories. Share your plans for the holidays. You really don't have to overthink this. You're just speaking human to human, and always bring it back to who is my customer during the holiday? Who is she shopping for? What else does she care about? How can I support her during this time? And the holidays are also a great time to connect with complementary businesses. So one of the best ways to get in front of people is to get in front of other people's audiences. So whether it's for a giveaway or just to shout each other out in your emails or in each other's gift guides, tap into your network and start looking for people that you can potentially partner with now and start engaging with them on social. You want to make sure you already have a relationship with them before you hit them up with an ask. But the holidays are a great time to do this, right? Because there's no one retailer that is going to have gifts for everyone on their list. So finding complementary businesses to support one another, I think this is a great time to do that. So we talked about your actual promotions. We've talked about how to get those promotions in front of people. And then the last thing on the list are your actual holiday graphics. And yes, these are at the end for a reason, because this is what will keep you stuck. Most people I know, including myself, so believe me, I get it, get caught up in the design of things, because honestly, it's so much easier to hide behind this and, tweak this and move this and try this font and do all that stuff instead of doing like the hard work of making decisions and showing up and creating content. So we hide behind the design. And like I said, I get it. I'm guilty of it too, but it's really just not worth it. And hiding behind the design and tweaking all day is not going to make you dollars. What will make you money is showing up on social media, pushing the sales, the products, getting on live video. All of that is going to make you money. The graphics help, but everything else matters more. So that being said, though, you do still want your graphics to reflect the season, right? It keeps people in the holiday spirit, just like dressing up windows and putting on holiday music. So now that you've got all of your promos and emails mapped out, start thinking through what graphics you're going to need to support this and batch create them so that they're all ready to go. And when you're doing that, you want to infuse some holiday cheer into your emails and your social posts. And if you have the bandwidth, I'd update your homepage images to match the season as well. So those are the things you're going to want to be creating for. And I usually use Trello to organize all of my graphic needs. So I have a card template that I created that I use for every promotion. So when I go and I use an individual card for each promo, and it already has a checklist of all the graphics I need. So I know I need an email graphic, an Instagram post, a story, a Facebook post, etc. And then I store the final graphic on the card so I can access it from anywhere, right? Because I can just get Trello anywhere on the internet. And then I'll also make sure that I have in the description of the card, I write out all the necessary information that I need to put on the graphic. And on the template, I have those headings. So it's the offer, the promo code, the dates, the disclaimer at a minimum. And when you do create these graphics, make sure that you're including the exact date and time with time zones that your deal expires. So if it expires at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time, make sure it says that, because people are still confused about time zones. I'm going to say that a lot because it's true, and I'm just going to remind you as many times as I possibly can to include that information. If you're not super talented with design and you don't have access to a graphic designer, keep things simple. It's very easy to go crazy and over design things. You get too fancy with fonts and colors to the point where the customer doesn't even know what it says, right? Or it's hard to read. So if you're not already using Canva, that's a great place to start. They have a bunch of built-in templates and it's super easy to use. I would say it's definitely worth getting the pro version. I think it's like $13 a month. So you can save all your brand colors. You can upload custom fonts. You get unlimited access to their stock photos, and you can create animations and GIFs and stuff. There's a link in the show notes if you're not already using it, but if you are using Canva, consider upgrading to the pro version, and you can always downgrade again later if you don't want to spend the money on every month. So here's the deal. We talked about a lot of things over this series, and I know it can feel overwhelming, but remember, you don't necessarily have to do all the things. Do what's right for your business right now. And if you want more support around planning your holiday season, get your hands on that holiday planning guide. And if you have the freebie that I gave away last year, know that this is an updated and more robust version with accompanying videos, including the actual walkthrough of how to schedule your emails in advance in Klaviyo, like I mentioned earlier. And really, it's just such a steal, and it's only going to get better year after year because I'm going to keep updating it and adding to it. So get it now. Get it now, girl. It's worth it. At a minimum, make sure you grab the checklist because that will have everything that we've talked about so you can kind of just follow along as you're implementing all the things at ecommercebadassery.com/24. So friends, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out. Have a kick-ass holiday season, and I will see you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking to surround yourself with more product entrepreneurs who totally get your life right now, get your booty on over to the eCommerce Badassery Facebook group. Can't wait to see you there. Until next time, e-commerce friends, stay badass.